Hello? Hello? Are we on? Are we on? Miss Lynn? Hi, Miss Lynn.
Hi, we're on.
Oh, we are? We're live?
We're on, Marvin T. Moose, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, boys and girls, welcome to another story hour. And our theme this week is monsters. Monsters. Oh my. Anyway, well, Miss Lynn is here for our first story. And are you ready, Miss Lynn?
I'm ready, Marvin.
Okay, well, antlers. Antlers. Oh well, I keep losing them. Anyway, on your mark, get set, and 2.5, 3 3/4, away we go.
Thank you, Marvin. Well, the first book that we're going to read for you is I Need My Monster by Amanda Noel. That's kind of a funny title. Tonight, when I looked under the bed for my monster, I found a note instead. It said, "Gone fishing. Be back in a week. Gabe." What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How was I supposed to get to sleep if my monster Gabe was gone? Oh my gosh, there he is. I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breathing, his nose whistling, the scrabbling of his uncut claws. How would I ever get to sleep without Gabe's familiar scary noises and his spooky green ooze? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week, and I just had to have a monster. So I quietly climbed out of bed so my parents would not hear me. Grown-ups have some strange ideas about monsters under beds. I knocked on the floorboards, then scrambled back under my covers, and I waited nervously. Would a new monster appear? What would he be like? Would his snoring be as cheerful as Gabe's? He really loves his monster. When I heard some creaking under my bed, I knew that the substitute monster had arrived. "Good evening," said a low, breathy voice. "My name is Herbert, and I will be your monster for the evening." Herbert? What kind of a name is that for a monster? You don't sound very scary at all. Have you ever scared a kid before? Well, no, but I've read stories, all the best books on the topic. Do you have long teeth and scratchy claws? I asked. No, but I have an overbite, and I'm a mouth breather. Listen. Herbert's panting was kind of scary, but it wasn't enough for me. There he is under the bed. Listen, Herbert, I'm sorry. I just don't think this is going to work. It's nothing personal, but I really need a monster with claws. Picky, 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 said Herbert, as he complained. As you wish, I'll go. There was some more creaking, and then Herbert was gone. Some scratching warned me that a second monster had appeared. "Good evening," he said in a high, silky voice. "My name is Ralph. I understand you need a monster with claws. If you would please lean over and hold out an arm, I'll hold out an arm for inspection." He must have lots of eyes. So I crouched on the end of the bed, hoping to see a horrible shaggy arm with sharp, ragged nails. Instead, I was surprised to see a sleekly brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. "Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but is that nail polish on your claws?" Yes, it is, Ralph replied. I believe professional monsters should always be well groomed. I could tell that this was not going to work either. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ralph, but I need a monster with scary claws, like Gabe's, I thought. I heard some more scratching, and I knew that Ralph was gone. A minute later, a third voice came from under the bed. Check out these claws, kid. I gathered my courage and I peered over the edge. The claws were impressive, jagged and dark and razor sharp. So far, so good. I was a little bit nervous. Could you stick out your tail? I whispered. Sure, but don't get scared. I peeked through my fingers at the slimy tail slithering over the foot of my bed. That's when I noticed the bow. See the bow on the end of her tail? Are you a girl monster? Well, of course I am, she snapped. I'm Cynthia. Do you have a problem with that? Yeah, I do, I admitted. I definitely need a boy monster. Boy monsters are for boys, and girl monsters are for girls. Everybody knows that. Well, aren't you a picky one? She sniffed, and then she was gone. Was I being too picky? No. I knew that my monster needed to be well-clawed and menacing. The whole point of having a monster, after all, was to keep me in bed, imagining all the scary stuff that could happen if I got out. So he's imagining monsters under his bed, but he doesn't have one there yet. Then I heard a shuffling noise and some slobbering. A fourth monster was under my bed. Hey, the name's Mac. One look at his claws proved that Mac was a big, scruffy boy monster. There's his foot. And I shivered. Maybe this one will work out. Those are excellent claws, but do you have a long tail? I leaned over to see. No, my tail is stumpy, but I do have an unusually long tongue. Why would I be afraid of a long tongue? I asked. Oh, I don't know, he said, trying to sound terrifying. You never know when I might lick you. I fell back on the bed laughing. Ah, he's kind of funny looking for a monster. Well, if you're not even going to try and work with me, Mac whined. I held my giggles. I really don't think you should send me away, he said. Kids who reject 5 monsters in one night. I did not reject 5 monsters tonight. My regular monster went fishing. Fishing, eh? So maybe he just left because you are so picky. Fine, I'm out of here. But I wouldn't expect another monster tonight if I were you. How was I ever going to get to sleep without my monster? I was surprised to hear more creaking under the bed. Loud creaking, with scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to appear tonight, I said. Oh, sorry I'm late, kid. Whew, it was Gabe, my monster. I thought I would enjoy fishing, but I didn't, he explained. Those fish are scary. They scare too easily. No challenge at all. You, however, are a challenge, my friend. You are almost too old to be afraid of monsters, and you keep me on my toes. Ah, toes, what a delicious snack. The bed quivered as Gabe's stomach rumbled with hunger. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool. I peeked over the edge of the bed, and green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. Gabe's drooling. Then the bed trembled as Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. He was daring me to guess where he might pop up. I shivered. So, you had some substitute monsters tonight, Gabe said, sharpening his claws on my bedpost. Were you scared? Then Gabe started tapping. I could tell he wanted to know if I still needed him. No other monster can scare me like you, I giggled, diving under my covers and pulling them up tight. Through the blanket, I heard Gabe's soft, comforting snorts. Ha! I knew it. We're made for each other, he growled. When my blanket started to slip off the bed, I knew that Gabe was ready to eat. Now, if you would please stick out your foot, I would like to nibble your pinky. I yanked my blanket back up and scrunched my feet in so that Gabe couldn't get them. No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, pushing a pillow off the bed. I didn't even hear it hit the floor. Gabe must eat pillows. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered again. I'd be asleep in no time. The end. That little boy loved his monster.
Thank you, Miss Lynn. That was a howling good story. Ha, ha, ha. Well, anyway, thanks, Miss Lynn. Now, it's time for Miss Betsy. Are you ready, Miss Betsy?
I think so.
Do you have a monster of a story? Ha, 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 ha. That was a good one.
I sure do.
All right. And away we go.
This book is called He Came with the Couch by David Slonim. Uh-oh. That dog's making a mess of things. Our family needed a new couch. We looked and looked, but we couldn't find a couch that we liked. We went to garage sales and rummage sales and yard sales, and that one didn't work. And that one's eating Mom. And that one looks like an alligator. By nighttime, all we had found was a tin horn for me and a squeaky bone for Roscoe, the dog. Then Dad suddenly hit the brakes. Aha, he cried. Larry's 24-hour rummage. Soon we were heading home with a new couch. Who is that back there, I asked. I don't know, said Dad. He came with the couch. The next morning, he was still there, so I gave him some toast and let him play with Bonnie. I'm Sophie, I told him. Who are you? But he didn't say anything. Can we keep him? I asked. No, said Dad. Oh, look at him try and get him off that couch. He's not budging. Mom and Dad tried to persuade him to leave, but he didn't budge. Maybe he's sick, I said, so they called the doctor.
It's an acute case of upholsteritis,
said the doctor.
He needs to get out more.
So we took him to the Grand Canyon. See the couch and the rock? We took him to the beach. Look, couch, sandcastles. We took him to Washington, D.C., but he never left the couch. Mom and Dad said we just have to get used to him. Great, I said. Then one day a branch snapped and I fell from my tree. Help! I screamed, and there was a sudden crash. Oh no, look at her falling. He saved me. That's why we're all so glad he came with the couch. But it wasn't long before we were off to another rummage sale. Uh-oh, look what the dog did to the chair. She came with the chair. The end.
Thank you, Miss Betsy. That was really cool. Well, he came with a couch, she came with a chair, but they turned out to be really good friends. And they weren't monsters at all. Well, we're now ready for Miss Michelle. Silence. Maybe the monsters got her. Miss Michelle!
I'm right here, Marvin.
Oh, okay. I was afraid you got eaten by the monsters. Are you ready for your story?
Yes.
Okay.
You gonna give me the action?
Yes. Okay. Ready?
Are you ready? Yes.
Okay. On your mark. Get set.
I think that's the wrong one.
Just be patient. Listen. Listen. Action!
Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Michelle, and this story that I'm going to read is The Judge, and it's an untrue tale by Harv Zimak, with pictures by Margot Zimak. I think you'll like this one, because the people in the story are trying to tell the judge that there's a big monster coming, and the judge just doesn't believe them. Well, they're going before the judge in the court. This is prisoner number 1. Let justice be done. And he says, please let me go, Judge. I didn't know, Judge, that what I did was against the law. I just said what I saw. A horrible thing is coming this way, creeping closer day by day. Its eyes are scary. Its tail is hairy. I tell you, Judge, we all better pray. That man has told an untrue tale. Throw him in jail. Judge didn't believe him. This is prisoner number 2. What did he do? I don't know. We'll find out. Please let me go, Judge. I didn't know, Judge, that what I did was against the law. I just said what I saw. A horrible thing is coming this way, creeping closer day by day. Its eyes is scary, and the tail is hairy, and the paws have claws, and it snaps its jaws. I tell you, Judge, we all better pray. And the judge said, there must be something wrong with his brains. Put him in chains. This is prisoner number 3, a scoundrel, I see. Please let me go, Judge. I didn't know, Judge, that what I did was against the law. I just said what I saw. A horrible thing is coming this way, creeping closer day by day. Its eyes are scary, its tail is hairy, its paws have claws, and it snaps its jaws, and it growls, and it groans, and it chews up stones. I tell you, Judge, we all better pray. Lock him up and throw away the key. He can't fool me. Here's prisoner number 4. Have I seen her before? And she says, please let me go, Judge. I didn't know, Judge, that what I did was against the law. I just said what I saw. A horrible thing is coming this way, creeping closer day by day. It's coming, Judge. Its eyes are scary, and the tail is hairy, and its paws have claws, and it snaps its jaws, and it growls, and it groans, and it chews up stones, and it spreads its wings, and it does bad things. I tell you, Judge, we all better pray. Take that nincompoop out of my sight. Lock her up tight. Still doesn't believe. This one is the 5th and last. He better talk fast. Please let me go, Judge. I don't know, Judge, that what I did was against the law. I just said what I saw. A horrible thing is coming this way, creeping closer day by day.
Its eyes are scary, and the tail is hairy, and its paws have claws, and it snaps its jaws, and it growls, and it groans, and it chews up stones, and it spreads its wings, and it does bad things, and it belches flame, and it has no name. I tell you, Judge, we all better pray. And guess what? Liar, ninny hammer, dimwit dunce, to jail at once, he said. And as they taken him to jail, he's going, uh-oh. Guess who's looking in the window? It's the monster. They were trying to tell the judge. And then, all of a sudden, and they're going, oh no! And the monster ate up the judge. And that was the end of the judge. And so, they weren't telling tall tales. They were saying there was a real monster on the loose. So, that's the end of our story. So, well, Marvin! Marvin! Better go find Marvin. Hopefully the monsters didn't get Marvin. Hold on, let's be really quiet. Marvin! Marvin! I'm here! I'm here! I was looking for monsters because I was afraid. Well, the monsters are only in our stories today, Marvin. Are you sure? Are you really sure? It's because I keep hearing like scratches and things falling, and maybe it was the squirrels. Squirrels? Oh, you mean that Barney saw? Well, I'm going to have to catch those squirrels for Barney. Well, anyway, this concludes the end of our first part of our story hour, boys and girls. And we're going to get ready for our second part. So, remember? Monsters. Monsters. Well, sort of, kind of. Okay. Well, we'll see you later. And stay tuned for part 2. Bye. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to part 2 of our Monster Story Hour. Lions and tigers and monsters. Oh my. Well, are you ready, Miss Lynn?
I'm ready.
Okay. And action!
This story is called Bears Don't Eat Egg Sandwiches by Julie Fulton. It's not really a monster, but bears can be very scary too. Bears don't eat egg sandwiches. Jack was about to have lunch when there was a knock at the door. "Oh, good," he said, "a visitor." It was a bear. "I'm hungry," it said. "Would you like an egg sandwich?" asked Jack. "Bears don't eat egg sandwiches," said the bear. "I love egg sandwiches," said Jack. "I'm going to eat one." "I know what I want for my lunch," said the bear, "but I need a big plate." Jack found the biggest plate he could. "Would you like an egg sandwich to put on it?" said Jack. "Certainly not," said the bear. "I told you, bears don't eat egg sandwiches." "Well, what would you put on it?" asked Jack. The bear's just looking at the big plate. The bear licked his lips with his long tongue. "Something nice and tasty," it said. "Egg sandwiches are tasty," said Jack. "Have you forgotten already?" bawled the bear. "Bears don't eat egg sandwiches." "I know what I want for my lunch," said the bear, "but I need a big spoon." Okay. Jack found the biggest spoon he could. "You can fit lots of egg sandwiches on this spoon," said Jack. The bear's just looking at him. Don't you ever listen, bellowed the bear. Bears don't eat egg sandwiches. Well, what are you going to eat? Asked Jack. And the bear patted his tummy with a scratchy claws. Lunch, it said. Egg sandwiches are good for lunch, said Jack. He must really like egg sandwiches. Enough of the egg sandwiches, roared the bear. Bears don't eat egg sandwiches. Well, I'm going to have one, said Jack.
That's really funny.
That bear is just yelling at Jack. I know what I want for my lunch, said the bear, but I need you to sit on the plate. So Jack sat on the plate. There he is. Excuse me, said the bear as he picked up the spoon. If bears don't eat egg sandwiches, what do they eat? Said Jack. He's thinking of hamburgers or apples or jelly. Well, said the bear, leaning over Jack, bears eat little boys. But I'll taste of frog spawn and grass stains and snot, said Jack. No, you won't, snorted the bear. You'll taste delicious. I'll taste like dirty socks and bits of string and mud, shouted Jack. Oh, no, you won't, snarled the bear. You'll taste absolutely delicious. I'll taste of egg sandwiches, yelled Jack as he disappeared into the bear's big mouth.
Oh no!
And poor Jack. And the bear coughed and sputtered. And he goes, ugh, ugh. And he howled and he spat Jack out. Bears don't eat egg sandwiches. I shall make you a cheese sandwich instead, asked Jack. And the bear just shook his head and left.
Oh, well, I'm sorry I kind of got excited, Miss Lynn, but that was a really funny and scary story all at the same time. But are you okay? And we really appreciate that really funny and scary story. But now it's time for Miss Betsy. Miss Betsy,
I'm right here.
are you right here? Okay, it's for our next story, our next monster story. Oh, the monster bed. I hope it's not too scary. Well, are you ready, Miss Betsy?
Yes, I am ready.
And a 1 and a 2, at large!
The Monster Bed by Jean Willis. Never go down to the withering wood. The creatures who live there are up to no good. There are gnomes that are nasty and trolls that are hairy, and even the pixies and fairies are scary. Oh, never go down there unless you're brave, for you might wander into the dank, gloomy cave where a monster named Dennis resides with another and a much larger monster who's Dennis's mother. For a monster, young Dennis is very polite. He tried very hard not to bellow and bite, but one night he bellowed, "I won't go to bed. I'm frightened, the wee monster said." What would a monster be afraid of? His mother said, "Why, there's no reason for fright. I'll give you your bear. I won't turn off the light." "The humans will get me," cried Dennis. "They'll creep under my monster bed while I am asleep." Ooh, a monster afraid of people? "Oh, no, dear," his mother replied. "That can't be. Humans are only in stories, you see, because they're not real. They won't trouble your rest. Now get into bed, dear. Mama knows best." Uh-oh. But when she bent down to kiss Dennis, he chose to fasten his fangs around her warty old nose. He tied up his toes in a knot around her knees.
Let go of me, Dennis. You're hurting me, please.
Promise the humans won't get me tonight? Yes, of course, dear, said his mother. Sleep tight. He took off his pillows and blankets and said, From now on, I plan to sleep under my bed. If I'm underneath and a human comes near, it won't think to look for me safe under here. Isn't that where monsters usually go? So there Dennis lay staring up at the springs, thinking of birthdays and chocolates and things. Now, a bad little boy who had played hooky that day had gone into the woods where he soon lost his way. Uh-oh, don't play hooky. Gotta stay in school. Too cross and too tired to walk anymore, he came to a cave and went in through the door. There was a bed and he needed some rest, so he threw down his satchel and quickly undressed. But somehow he didn't feel sleepy. He said, If my mother was here, she'd check under the bed, in case there's a monster or goblin or elf. Since his mother was not there, he did it himself. Uh-oh, they saw each other. From now on, dear reader, you better behave. Don't go to the woods or to Dennis's cave. Or you might meet his mother and just think how you'd feel if she were to tell you that you are not real. What are you doing?
Hello? Hello? Oh, hi, Miss Betsy.
Hi, why are you upside down, Marvin T?
Well, I thought I'd try it from a different angle. Well,
Just like this story was from a different angle. It was
yeah.
from the monster's point of view.
yeah, I guess so. Well, oh boy. Well, I'm just hanging out here. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Miss Betsy. That was a really wonderful story. And I'm getting all kind of stuffed up in the nose. But I think, Miss Michelle, are you ready? Yes. Yes, Marvin T. Are you okay? Yeah. But are you close by? Because I got to get back my hose back on the ground. Yep, I'm ready. Okay. Are you ready? Yes. And a 1, and a 2, and antlers! Hi, boys and girls. That Marvin T is something else. Well, we're going to finish our monster story hour with one of my favorites, Where the Wild Things Are. And the story and pictures are by Maurice Sendak. And there he is, going to the land of the wild things. The night Max wore his wolf suit, and he made mischief of one kind. And another chasing the poor doggy with a fork. That's not very nice. And his mother called him Wild Thing. And Max said, I'll eat you up. So he went to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew until the ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed through the night and the day. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And then when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and they gnashed their terrible teeth, and they rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still!" And he tamed them with a magic trick of staring into their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. And made him king of all the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." And they roared and they howled. Arr! Arr! And they swung from the trees. And they did the monster conga line. Roar, 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 roar. "Now stop," Max said, and he sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all the wild things, was lonely. And he wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." And the wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped inside his private boat and waved, "Goodbye, goodbye." I think he wanted to just go home. And he sailed back over a year, and he in and out of weeks, and through a day, he was very tired. And into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it looks like grilled cheese and tomato soup, one of my favorites. And that, to come to find out, it was still hot. And that is the end of that story. And Marvin, you gotta go make sure that the squirrels didn't get poor Marvin. Maybe make sure the monsters don't, but the monsters were just in the story. So let's go make sure the squirrels didn't get him. Marvin! Oh, I'm here. Well, thanks, Miss Michelle. Well, you're very welcome. That was a really wonderful story. And now it's time for the kid monster joke of the day. Are you ready, Miss Lynn and Miss Betsy?
Sure thing.
Yeah,
Okay, are you there?
we are.
Okay. What do you get? Oh, what was the joke? Come here. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sorry, boys and girls. Okay. What squirms and howls at the moon?
I don't know what, Marvin.
Where worms. That was good. I like that. Howling worms. Anyway, that'll be the end of our story hour. We have another one for you next week. Now, it's time for the monster dance. Are you ready, boys and girls? Okay. No. Monsters. No. Monsters. Monsters. Oh, they stayed up that time. Well, no, they didn't. Well, anyway, now stay tuned for our craft of the week. And you can make your own, very own monster. Okay, are we done? Yes, we're done. Say goodbye. Goodbye. Bye, boys and girls.